Yeah, I mean, the message to the team continues to understand that why we're here is to win another trophy, to win another Gold Cup trophy. But we're really looking at this as two tournaments. There's a knockout stage tournament that we need to earn the opportunity to get to by playing through a group stage first. So the focus right now with the group, the messaging is just that we understand that we're going to be here from tomorrow till July 2nd. And we have to earn an opportunity to get ourselves into the knockout round. So we'll take it one game at a time and continue to just try and improve and get better on each performance.
John Arnold with ESPN. BJ, we've talked a lot. Paul asks about putting the tournament in context, big picture. What does this mean? What do you expect from Jamaica tomorrow? What are some of the strengths they have? Obviously, some players who play in really important leagues. What are you expecting from this Jamaica team?
Yeah, I mean, we look at the roster that Jamaica was able to bring here for the Gold Cup, and I mean, I don't think it's any secret in our camp that this is probably the most talented Jamaica team that we're going to face. I mean, you have tons of experienced players, young players, and also players that have performed really well in the Gold Cup over a lot of years for them. So we're expecting a team that's motivated, a team that we think can really, beat you and hurt you in different ways, in a lot of phases of the game. With the new coach, they're organized. Obviously with the infusion of talent, they're looking like they're playing like a team. And, I think anything you can see on offensive transition can be a threat. Offensive set pieces can be a threat. For me, and even in their buildup, there's a lot of threats in terms of on the wings. And if you're looking at defending the wide areas, then you have to worry about the stable of strikers that they have, and they can continue. And then I think for us at the end is like, we know it's going to be a full match because even the players that they have now to come off the bench are big impact players.
Arch Bell with CONCACAF.com. Alex, what were some of the highlights for you being in Vegas? And I know winning the trophy was very special, but training and being with that group that was in Vegas, all those players, what stands out to you about that experience? And then how can you apply your time with that group to this group here in the Gold Cup?
The experience was unreal. Obviously, I've known those guys since I was 15, so just being with them and enjoying the moment with them was a great experience. It's not every day you get to lift the trophy, so I really took that in, and that's just extra motivation, and I do the same with this tournament.
Pilar Pérez, ESPN Internacional. Alex, tomando un poco tu respuesta en inglés ahora mismo, si me la puedes repetir un poco en español, habiendo estado en la Nations League y ahora estar en esta competencia, y cómo manejan un poco la comparación que hay, porque se habla de la selección A, la selección B, ellos ya consiguieron revalidar ese título y ahora esta selección tiene la propuesta de hacerlo en la Copa Oro.
Sí, creo que fue un torneo muy bonito. Como dije, yo estoy acostumbrado a jugar con ellos desde los 15 años, entonces la verdad lo disfruté. No es todos los días que puedes ganar un torneo y más a nivel internacional. Entonces, pasar todas esas vibras y emociones a este torneo, y ojalá se pueda lograr ganar esta Copa Oro. Y nada, disfrutar el momento. Sabemos que no va a ser nada fácil, entonces seguir con esa idea que tuvimos en Nations League. Y yo no creo que hay una selección A y B. Yo creo que todos somos un grupo unido, porque así nos hace sentir el profe. Entonces...
Alex, continuing sort of on the same line, having been in that first group and being one of the guys that are in this tournament, and also what you've achieved at the club level in your career, are you trying to take a leadership role even though you've been with the national team for a relatively short amount of time? Is there something you're trying to do in training to bring those guys along, or are you doing the same thing you were doing in the Nations League camp effectively?
Yeah, hopefully I can take a leadership role. I feel like BJ's giving me the confidence to do so. So, I try to take in what I got from the guys in Nations League camp and just bring it into Gold Cup.
Paul Tenorio again from The Athletic. BJ, you spoke before Nations League about the fact that you have a good relationship with Greg. Obviously, during Nations League, he was named coach. I wonder, do you Are you in contact with Greg during the course of this tournament about the team, the messaging, anything like that? Are you speaking with him, or are things completely separate until after the tournament? Thank you.
Yeah, so to answer the question, I mean, him and I do speak in general. We spoke often when he wasn't named the coach. He's a friend, he's a mentor, he's someone that I worked with for over 4.5 years. So I think it's just natural to have conversations and to bounce ideas off of each other. In regards specifically to the messaging and things that go on in the Gold Cup, no, it's completely within our camp. It's completely within our staff. As he and Matt continue to build sort of towards the future and evolve this national team as we sort of continue to embark on what 2026, the goals for 2026.
I will take some questions here in Zoom, and we have online people. So please, Andrew Jones.
Thank you very much. I have a question for both. For Alex, just want to ask you, AZ, what was the most enjoyable song that you sung on the team bus after celebrating that Nations League title? And BJ, if you have any funny story with Alex so far in the time that you've been with him this year and getting to be with him in the squad.
Funny song, or I think the most strange one would be when Weston put the High School Musical one in the locker room. I would never think he would do that.
In terms of the funniest story would be one of the more recent ones. But after the team got back to the hotel, we're in the team meal room, and Alex is a guy who doesn't wear a shirt all that often. So he's one of the guys with no shirt on in the meal room. But what he does have on is still the Nations League medal around his neck, and so you can tell how important that moment was for him, and something that I was glad that he was able to experience with the team. And hopefully we can continue to have great success here with the Gold Cup, and he can keep his shirt off one more time.
Please, Will Clark in Zoom.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Alex. Will Clark from Soccer Pints. Coach, you've got a good mix of veterans and youth in the squad, a few holdovers, obviously, from Nations League like Alex, too. I think it's safe to say for a lot of the team, this could be a springboard type of tournament for their careers. What's the messaging you're giving to the squad ahead of the group matches and how this could impact their ability to grow with the national team for the future?
The message to everybody on the roster is that this is an opportunity for us to continue to challenge ourselves in group play type of model, and then earning the right to go to a knockout model. And it has a very similar feel to what a World Cup will look like. So again, we challenge each player to have that opportunity, to accept that opportunity. And for us, it's, again, it continues to battle test and prepare a deep player pool as we continue to find moments to do that, as we continue to march towards this 2026 World Cup that we get to host in our home country.
Sanjay.
Thank you. Thanks for your time today, guys. BJ, quick question about the roster selection. There's no U20s in the midfield. Was there an understanding with the MLS clubs that some of those guys who went to the World Cup were just going to do that and not be a part of this tournament? And also, just in general, there were some guys who weren't released for the U20 World Cup who were promising midfielders. Could you talk about the thought process there? Thank you.
Yeah, I would say that each player call up is an individual decision for that player and for the national team. There's no agreements made with MLS clubs because somebody was called in at some point or other. I believe in this roster, and I think this roster has a great cross section of players that are both U20 veteran players, Olympic aged players. Again, continuing on the same theme that we've been preaching, which is trying to get as many players in this player pool and experience in tournament style, knockout style types of events, because that's what's going to ultimately make and give us the strongest team when we field the 2026 World Cup team.
Coming back to the room, please.
José Gudiño, Conexión Deportiva. Alex, me imagino que el título de la Nations League reafirmó tu decisión por quedarte con la selección de Estados Unidos en vez de México, y me imagino que ahora pues seguirá tratar de ganar de nueva cuenta otro título en tu corta carrera con la selección mayor. Sabemos que tuviste con la selección menor la Copa de Oro y próximamente el Mundial, ¿no?
Sí, ojalá este torneo podamos lograr otra vez pues el trofeo. Va a ser el segundo en mi carrera internacional. Y sí, como dices, prepararnos para lo que se viene. Tenemos que pensar primero en la Copa América y luego ya en el proceso para llegar al Mundial del 26.
Pilar Perez, ESPN International. Coach, any update about Miles and his injury?
Yeah, great question. So right now, Miles has been working as hard as you can to get back. I would expect him to be like a game day decision. We'll continue to work around on the clock to get him to feel as great as he can, and then we'll be able to make that decision tomorrow.
Do we have any additional question here in the room just to give more space to Zoom? You? Okay. You're in the first row.
BJ, you spoke about the challenge of the attacking players on Jamaica's roster and about trying to deepen this pool ahead of 2026. How big of a test is it for some of these guys that are going to be out there against players who, play in the Premier League, who are big, strong, fast, technical, have proven themselves at the highest level, to be able to gauge them against opponents like this?
Yeah, we look at this game versus Jamaica as a great test for us, specifically what, like you mentioned, with the attacking talent, not only at the forward position but in the winger position. So it'll give us a lot of great information. And I would say the player profiles that they have are different types of player profiles up front. So it'll be a really good test for our back line. And I expect it to be a great test in a variety of ways, not just big and strong, but you have players that are technical that can come down. You have players that can run behind. So, it's something that we need to be prepared for. But at the same time, I think it's going to give us a lot of valuable information as we continue to try and get better throughout the tournament.
Okay, I'll take two final questions here in Zoom. Daniel Wheeler, please.
Hi, Coach. Daniel Wheeler from the Gleaner here in Jamaica. You talked about the attacking talent that Jamaica has had better than it had recent years. But I just wanted to find out from you in terms of this new cycle with Coach Henrik Grimson. Have you noticed that what about Jamaica is different now than it has been in previous meetings where Jamaica has gone on to the Gold Cups finals in the past?
I mean, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what's different. Obviously, they've been able to bring a really talented group of players, and what I would say is that it is now the most talented group from top to bottom that we've seen, and that's something that we have to be prepared for. And I know we do speak a lot about the attacking group, but there's also an unbelievable goalkeeper that I'm familiar with, and Andre Blake, that we have to put the ball past as well. So it'd be remiss to not mention him. And so from front to back and back to front, this is a really deep and strong team.
Final question for Daniela Galindo.
Thank you. Esta pregunta es para Alex, Daniela Galindo de Claro Sport. Alex, ¿sienten una presión como grupo al ser considerados ahora favoritos para la Copa Oro? ¿Y qué significa para ustedes esta presión y cómo manejarla, ya que ahora México está pasando por un momento complicado con cambio de entrenador y todos los problemas que están internos? ¿Para ustedes esto significa aún más presión?
No, yo no creo que tenemos presión. Yo creo que nomás nos enfocamos en nosotros. Tenemos que hacer lo mismo que hicimos para Nations League, partido tras partido, como dijo BJ, enfocarnos en lo nuestro. Y sobre lo de México, no, la verdad no le ponemos tanta atención a eso, lo que está pasando allá. Nosotros estamos enfocados en nosotros.
Coach BJ Alejandro, thank you so much, and all the best in the tournament.
Thank you.